Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's head-to-head comparison, let's take a look at the 2025 Audi S6 and the 2025 BMW 540i. Now for the Audi, they start around $75,900. In today's video as tested, this model is closer to $88,000. For the BMW, they start around $65,000, and in today's video, closer to $76,000. So yes, the Audi is more expensive. However, if you got a fully loaded 540, it could be closer in line with an MSRP of an S6. So let's go ahead and get into today's video.
Now this is powered by the 2.9 liter twin turbo V6. It's paired to the 8-speed automatic transmission, and it pumps out 444 horsepower, 442 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent through the all-wheel drive system, propelling this 4,500 pound sedan from 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds. It has a top speed of 155 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 19.3 gallons. You can expect to see around 19 miles per gallon in the city, 27 out on the highway. And this is powered by the 3-liter twin power turbo inline 6, paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. It pumps out 376 horsepower, 398 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent through the xDrive all-wheel drive system, propelling this 4,300 pound sedan from 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. Top speed is 155 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 18 gallons. You'll expect to see around 26 miles per gallon in the city, 33 out on the highway. Now this particular model also has a lot more goodies than just the Premium Plus package. There's the S Sport package, which is $4 grand. Black Optics package, $750. There's the Audi Sport Express red stitching package, which is $500. And then we have a few for the S Sport adaptive suspension, the S Beam, and then the floor mats too. So we have quite a lot for this top trim level. Now as we work our way up front, you'll notice that this has a set of LED headlights with a really nice design for those housings. There's also the Audi badge, which is chrome. Interesting, it's not blacked out for this model, but the entire hexagonal grille surround is gloss black. There's more gloss black accents within it. There's also the forward-facing camera and then some sensors as well for the adaptive cruise. Now this also has headlight washers that are just underneath both headlights. There's more gloss black in the lower section, as well as a lot more cutouts to provide additional cooling. There's also 2 crisp points that come off the top of the grille and lead their way to the base of the windshield there. We move on to the exterior styling now for the 540i. This one is pretty much fully loaded. This has the M Sport, M Sport Pro, and Executive package as well. The M Sport and M Sport Pro package provides it with all the gloss black accents that are up front. So for the kidney design in the grille, everything is gloss black. This model even has the illuminating package, providing that light surrounding the entire grille surround. So at nighttime, that lights up. Very neat to see that. This has a forward-facing camera with the sensor right in the middle, as well as the active grille shutters. So those sections will open up to provide some more cooling to that engine. Now this also has LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals, with a dark housing up front just to blend in a little bit more with a nice sleek design to them. And then all the gloss black down below, along with parking sensors and large inlets right in the middle there, as well as cutouts in both corners to provide even more cooling. And then check out all the contoured edges and crisp lines running throughout that lower section. There's also some nice lines that come down the hood and an indentation right there with the BMW badge right in the middle. So it matches the top of that grille as well. Now as we work our way to the side, this has a really nice set of 21-inch wheels with that multi-spoke design, massive brake calipers up front to give this plenty of stopping power. There's also gloss black for the side mirrors that have a camera and a turn signal. There's gloss black for the front section of the roof there with the sunroof. All the window trim is finished off in gloss black as well, and some of those crisp edges work their way to the lower section as well as in the upper section of the door there. And then as we work our way to the side, the M Sport Pro package provides it with the 20-inch wheels. They have a 2-tone design to them with the blue M Sport brakes. And then this also has the body-colored side mirrors. They are power folding. There's a camera as well as the turn signal. And then this does have a full moonroof, so the entire roof is gloss black, as well as all of the window trim and the pillars right in the middle. Now there's very nice lines in the lower section, as well as more gloss black, and this even has the newer design from BMW for the door handles. So it gives it more of that flush and integrated look. And then being a sedan, has a very nice design to it with that rear glass there, And then in back, really nice small trunk mounted spoiler there to give it some definition. There's the backup camera, LED taillights with that sequential design to them. There's all of the parking sensors and then the quad tip dual exhaust in the lower section. Now as we work our way to the cargo space, you can use the key fob or the button up underneath to open up that power trunk where you have a good bit of space. There's a storage bin on that left side. You also have a first aid kit. And then if I lift up this floor, you have the spare tire along with a little bit of storage, so you could use that as needed. And then you have a hook here as well, so you can place some items there if you need to. The back seats also fold down, so you can get a little bit more storage if you need it. And then up top, you have two buttons. You can close it or lock the vehicle as well. And then in back, this has a small gloss black spoiler, backup camera with the LED taillights, dark housings just like up front. There's all the parking sensors, more gloss black in that lower diffuser, reverse light is right in the middle. And this does have remote start, so you just have to triple tap on the lock button in order to do that, and then you can use that to shut it off as well. You can use the button on the key fob or the electronic button up underneath, and we can open up that power liftgate and take a look at the rear storage. So there's plenty of space. There's a cubby over on the driver's side. There's also one over on the passenger side. And then there's even additional storage underneath where the 540 has a spare tire. And look at these two compartments here. So you can place some items up underneath the floor as well as those bins if you need to. And being a practical family style sedan, you can also fold down the back seats. So that gives you a lot more interior space for larger items, of course. And then up top, you can lock the vehicle. The one on the left side will just close that power trunk. Now as we work our way to the interior, you can also lock and unlock this from all four door handles, which is nice. And this has a beautiful interior. There's all the carbon fiber, brushed aluminum, Alcantara, all the leather and stitching, Bang & Olufsen for the sound system, plenty of storage in that lower section as well. And then we have more red accents within these seats. It's also on both sides of the seat belts. And then you have the tab up top here that you can use to fold down the seats if you need to. And at 5'10", hopping into the back, there's a good bit of space. There's storage nets. You have your climate vents, all of your adjustments on this LCD screen to go through that information. There's also some auxiliaries down below. And at my height, I have around an inch or so of headroom. So I can sit upright and be comfortable, maybe go on a long road trip. Definitely very spacious for its size. Right in the middle, you do have the armrest with cup holders. You get a little bit of storage behind that if you need it. And then you can also fold down this middle seat individually. So just pull on that release and you have that if you need to. But plenty of visibility. And then as we work our way to the interior, you just heard it lock. I'm sure there's a setting you could do to unlock from the back, but if I just place my hand up front, we can quickly unlock from the rear for the settings right now. For this door panel, there's a manual sunshade, so you can use that as needed. There's also brushed aluminum. It's on the Harman Kardon speaker, as well as the release handle and the trim accent just behind that. And then there's a little bit of space down below and blue stitching running throughout all of the leather. You'll notice more of the blue stitching with the solid black leather seats. And at 5'10", hopping into the back, I have a good amount of space. I have the front seat set at my height. There's also an area where you could place attachments to put your tablets and charge them at the same time. There's climates, auxiliaries, a little bit of space down below. And at my height, even with a hat on, I have about a ½ inch or so above my head. So for this size, it's actually very nice. You could have 3 people back here, and it might be a little bit tight, but it is practical with its size. Right in the middle, we have the armrest with 2 cup holders, and then you can even fold down this middle seat individually. So if you need to gain access to the back, you have the option to do that. This also has a rear sunshade, so you can use that as needed, and very large windows on both sides. There's even another manual sunshade that you can use for that back window. So you can get very comfortable and out of the sun in the back and have that sunshade closed, of course, just to give you a little bit more shade. Now up front, there's some carbon fiber accents. There's lock and unlock, memory seating adjustments. Your side mirrors are also heated too. Power folding, there's all the window controls, trunk release, and more storage. And then we have the same design for these front seats with the S logo there. Very nice lateral supports and all of the automatic adjustments down below. And then as we hop in, we're greeted with the solid and perforated leather steering wheel. On this right side, there's volume, Bluetooth. you have tuning and volume along with a favorites button. There's also paddle shifters on the back side, and then you have a few controls for the gauge cluster. So let's fire this up and take a listen to how this sounds. And coming back to the virtual cockpit now, you'll notice over on the far left side, there's your engine temperature, far right side is fuel, and then within this system, you can go through a lot of information. So I can scroll through info over on that left side, and all the info front and center is fixed. I can also scroll over and view some more of this information. So get into music, get into Bluetooth, pull up the navigation, and then we're back to this setting here. If I click on view now, you can pull all of this up in a larger screen. So that's all going to shift to the middle. So if you have the navigation on, you can bring that up in full screen versus minimizing it to the left side. So it just depends on how you'd like to view this information. You have two different ways to do that. Now over on this left side, you have a little bit of storage. There's also your headlight adjustments. There's also the stock for your cruise control and distance pacing. You get more carbon fiber underneath the one air vent. Leather covers the entire dash. There's also air vents that go all the way to the passenger side there. And then with this upper LCD screen, you have a good bit of icons to go through. You have your radio, media, you can get into your vehicle too. So you can get into your drive select with the different driving modes. You can go into your seats, adjust all of that, look at your AC as well. And then you have shortcuts on this left side. So you can get into your navigation, your music, as well as your phone and audio adjustments. So you have quite a lot that you can go through, even the split screen here. So you can view a lot of information, and then you can keep going with the rest of those icons. Now right in the middle, in between these screens, we have the engine start stop. There's also shortcuts, so you can input those addresses as favorites. You can also shut that upper screen off if you would like to. Now underneath that, you have your climate adjustments, so you can get into all of that. There's also the heated seats. You have your fan speed, where you'd like the air to go. You even have adjustments for the rear, as well as your heated steering wheel. So you can get through all of those, of course. And then you also have a shortcut to your drive select, which I showed that screen earlier. There's your traction control, you have some defrosters, there's the engine start stop button. There's also a shortcut to the camera system. So you can pull up this 3D view, where you can pull up all of these different angles, just depending on what you would like to see. You also have a shortcut to your safety features. So when you turn that on for your driver assistance, you can adjust how you would like that. And there's also volume and power for your audio. Now there's cup holders on this right side along with a 12 volt. You have a little bit of storage in the middle. You can place the key fob if you'd like. And then to put this into reverse, simply push that forwards where we have that camera system. There's also drive and then the manual setting. So you can shift using this or the shifter itself, and then park is located on the back. There's the e-brake behind that. And then you have wireless charging with some auxiliaries in the center armrest. There's plenty of room in the glove box. And then up top, you have the rear view mirror. You also have the touch sensitive dome lights, and then the adjustments for the sunshade and the sunroof. So those are automatic. And then here's a look at visibility. Very small pillars with large windows. So it's easy to see over both shoulders. Now the door panel up front is just like the rear. However, this has some ambient lighting, as you can tell right now, running across this top section. There's memory seats. We also have a control that I will go over once we start this up. There's lock and unlock, more brushed aluminum, all of the window adjustments, side mirror controls, trunk release, and more storage. And then front seats have a really nice design to them with some of the colors stitched on both sides. We have the lateral supports and all of the automatic adjustments down on the side with the leg support that you can see is currently out at the moment. Now once we hop into the interior, we have a solid black leather M Sport steering wheel with the M badge down below. Really cool spokes as well. There's also the stripe right in the middle. And then let's fire this up with that crystal button down below. Take a listen to the 540i. And coming back to the digital gauge cluster, left side shows miles per hour, right side is the tach along with what gear you're in, and there's some fixed information running across the entire lower section. Now to go through all of that info, you will use buttons over on the right side of the steering wheel, where there's also volume and shortcuts to your music, Bluetooth, and voice commands. So pushing on this button right here we will pull up the content. Then we can use the rotary dial to further go through the rest of this information. So you have quite a lot that you can go through front and center. We can pull up the map as well. We even have a G-force meter, and then you have your music as well. Now, what you can do with this information, if we go into the map again, you can scroll over to layout and change the entire layout of this screen and still have the info right in the middle. So just depending on how you want to view this information. The last one is for the head-up display, where currently in the standard view, showing miles per hour and the speed limit sign, directional adds the compass, assisted adds your distance pacing that you can go through. There's also sport, so it adds the tach, and then reduced is the same as standard. So you have quite a lot that you can go through. This even has steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. There is a boost setting on this left one, so if you hold that for a few seconds, it will show up with a timer counting down from 10 seconds. Left side, there's all the cruise control settings. And then over on this left side, there's an air vent control along with all the headlights. We have a few more adjustments and more of that lighting that you saw running on the door panel. Now coming back to this control right here, if I push on that, it pulls up the driver's seat. So you can go through all this information as needed, even pull up the front passenger seat as well. Now the entire dash is finished off in leather. And then as we work our way to the infotainment system on the home screen, you have the map, as well as some info that you can scroll through on this left side. There's also shortcuts into your music, your nav. You can pull up all of your climate adjustments, so you can go through all of that. You have home. Those 4 squares there will allow you to go through the rest of this info. You have your interior lighting, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, your climates, owner's manual. You can quickly get through all of that using the rotary dial down below, or you can scroll through it with your hand, of course. Last one is for Bluetooth, so you can easily get through that. You have your climate adjustments for your temperatures, and then of course this has heated and ventilated seats along with the heated steering wheel. Now there's also shortcuts down below with this dial, so you can further go through all of this without actually using the screen. So very nice to see that. More of that color is just underneath that. It goes all the way to the passenger side. There's also defrosters, some more air vent controls, wireless charging down below. There's 2 cup holders with some auxiliaries, even more of the interior lighting. And then let's put this into reverse, where this does have the 360 camera system. So you have no shortage of visibility with any angle that you go into. And then when you put it into drive and we go back through the cameras on this left side, now we have that forward-facing camera, so you can pull all of that up, and you have a few more settings that you can quickly adjust. Now this also has the backup assistance, so when I put it back into reverse, you can get into starting that up or closing out of it, which is a pretty cool feature to have for this. Now if we go into drive and then we do that one more time, sport mode allows you to use these paddle shifters. Now there's no actual button for park, simply just push on the e-brake and it will automatically put it into park. Now on this right side, if I push on this control right here, this will pull up with your camera system. So that's just a shortcut there. The control just behind that will pull up your driver assistance as well as your drivetrain and your chassis. You have iconic sounds, which I believe is piped in exhaust notes that you can hear, so you can turn that on and off, and then a few other settings that you can go through. Now this 540i also has a few different modes. So you have personal, you have sport. That will actually change the entire gauge cluster as well, along with all of the lighting. So right now it's red on the driver's side and blue on the passenger side. We can go into efficient, where everything is going to change again. All of that lighting disappeared and turned into light blue. So it's pretty cool, just depending on your mood for the day. And it will even adjust the sunshades in the rear and the front. So when we go to digital art, everything turns purple and those automatically adjust. So really cool to see that. Kind of a gimmick, but just depending on what you'd like to see for the day. There's also volume and power along with tuning for the audio. And if we open up the center armrest, you have plenty of space with an auxiliary in the back, and then push on that button there and you have even more space in the glove box, more of that lighting just above it too. Up top, we have all the controls for that sunshade and sunroof, along with the dome lights. You have a few controls for the sunshades just behind that, and it looks to be a camera right there in the middle. I am not sure what that is for or how that works. Interesting to see that. Comment down below if you know what that is for. And then a look at visibility. It's very easy to see over both shoulders. So for this family style sedan, it's practical and easy to see. And we're still in dynamic mode, second gear. Here we go. Definitely has a good sound to it, and that was just a mild acceleration. The paddles are very responsive as well. But this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the S6. Definitely a very nice interior. Everything is laid out well. We have a lot of nice materials. The only downside, I haven't seen a head-up display. I'm not sure if that is an option, but I would think with the amount of packages on this model, you would at least have the head-up display. But overall, it's very nice. If you're looking for a luxury-focused vehicle, Audi is a luxury brand, so you are going to get a very nice feel and drive. And I do like this suspension as well. It's a little bit on the firm side, so that's an option. So if you don't want that, you can just go with a standard setup. But the suspension seems really nice. It takes corners well. So I would personally get it just for the added weight of this vehicle. Being a larger sedan, it's going to help with the handling characteristics and around turns, cornering, things like that, to just make it drive much better. And we have a great place to be. So I could see this being a good daily driver. If you wanted a little bit larger of a sedan, something you have plenty of room in the back for full-size adults, or just extra space in general, it's definitely a nice place to be. Very quiet too. There's really no road noise or wind noise, anything like that. And then you do have the different driving modes. So I can put it into comfort or auto, where it's going to get a little bit softer. And as far as the 3-point turn goes, very, very tight in the steering. So that's good for its extra size here. But as we have it in comfort mode now, still sounds about the same, but the throttle was not quite as responsive as dynamic. So it's nice that you have a few different options here, just depending on how you are driving for the day and how you want to have this set up. And in sport mode, second gear, here we go. Again, very quick in the shifts. It's also very smooth too. If you're going with the 540i, you want something that's a little bit more luxury focused, not quite as sporty, but this is something that can handle some back mountain driving. It's not the most performance oriented, I will say, but it's something that kind of has the best blend of both worlds. If you want a little bit more sportiness, not an overkill or like the M5, but you still want a practical daily driving sedan that just has a little bit more bump to it. But behind the wheel now for this $75,000, $76,000 luxury focused sedan, like I mentioned, it's very nice. These seats are very comfortable. We don't have massagers for this model, but it's also well insulated. Even with a truck like that passing, it's what you would expect. Very nice for this model. Not a whole lot of buttons either, so it makes it a lot more minimal with the controls. Everything is pretty much up top, minus the controls you can use down below, but it gives it a great look in my opinion. And it's also easy to go through. Not that loud either. Under a little bit of an acceleration you can hear it, but it is on more of that toned down side, even in sport mode. But let's quickly turn around. So with a UE, turning radius is pretty tight.
And coming back to our final thoughts now with the Audi S6 and the BMW 540i. These are both fantastic luxury focused sedans. They offer performance to them, but it's not quite that next hardcore level like the M5 or the RS6 for each model, but they're going to give you performance, some handling characteristics too, and just give you a very nice luxury focused ride for a daily driver. Now I will say, I feel like the 540 is going to be a little bit more sporty, but with the Audi, you can get the upgraded suspension just to make it a little bit stiffer in some of those handling situations, so that way you can get those handling characteristics while still retaining a smooth and luxury ride. So you really can't go wrong with either one. Both are going to be spacious. You have plenty of room for any items that you would like. It really just comes down to which exterior or interior do you like better. Do you like the large screen in the BMW or the split up screen in the Audi? And then of course exterior styling is going to vary just depending on what you like. But with the BMW, even with the exterior styling, it does look a little bit more sporty. Audi is a little bit more subtle, so it just depends on which one you think you are going to enjoy and like driving on a daily basis. So comment down below, would you rather have the Audi or the BMW? Let me know your thoughts. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. I'll see you all in the next video.